and shorts, and surf, and scuba, and sand, and sailing, and soccer. San Diego, California.
Season's greetings and welcome to Two Balls and a Mic episode 226. Looking a little bit different here on a Tuesday after Memorial Day. You're not saying Chiva, Alejandro El Chiva Villaseñor across, but you're seeing Abe Cepeda, contributor for San Diego Football, across the desk for his first time in person, filling in for Chiva today, who just got spooked by probably my family walking into our garage. Yes, Abe, it is a garage at the end of the day. We're going to go ahead and get into it, nitty gritty of it all. Last week, we had Angel City versus San Diego Wave, a 0-0 fest with points away, finally getting some points for San Diego Wave, but could they be doing better? We're going to get into that matchup. You talked with Casey Stoney. You were there at BMO Stadium, so we're going to get into it. After that, we have a special guest, Brian Enge. He's going to tell us all about the Surf Cup and Club America Cup that happened over at the Polo Grounds. Polo Field, not the ground. That's baseball. Here in San Diego, a youth tournament, and how that's going to impact the community. Also, we're going to have a segment that we're going to continue on. Pretas SD. We're going to bring on the great and powerful Paul Nathan Nacu. You know him from his 13 Instagram accounts. All of them more successful than most of our only ones, which is absolutely phenomenal. A powerhouse. Talk about Bridge Barcata World Cup for street football and some crazy, interesting things to discuss with the great, powerful Paul Nacu. We're going to get into goals, greats, and gaffes, and at the end of the day, have a great time. Season's greetings to everybody who is here on a Tuesday, enjoying their time. How are you, Abe?
I'm doing good. I'm a little bit nervous about the chair now. I'm feeling
Why?
a big chair. Chivas is.
Oh, I thought you meant like a literal big chair.
No, like it. I think Jeremy's right. It's a big chair. I need to match Chivas' energy, match his anger, his frustration.
His anger?
He
That's the
doesn't-
one thing he's known for? Is
no,
he? I don't know.
No, he's got a lot of love. I love Chivas.
100%. We're giving everybody. Esteban is like, whoa, was not expecting clean shave Tony. Yeah, no, it's one of those things. I don't know. You're younger, lad. Are you capable of? No. Okay, cool.
No, it just looks like dirt.
Is it? Whoa, hey, mine or just
No,
in
mine.
general?
I'm saying if I can't even grow anything at all, so I have to do this by not by choice.
Yeah, well, for me, it was one of these things where it was getting to a degree and length and frizziness where the lady was just like, that needs to get taken care of, and she was like, oh, you can trim it, but I was like, okay, just all of it. I don't want to get into the drain clogging aspect of all that, but it's okay. Can be classified as one of those manly things. So manly, my beard hair clogged the sink, and then my girlfriend had to come and help me open it. Sorry, you're coming into a garage, dude.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
But
has nobody told you?
You're an adult. You should know how not to clog a sink with your beard hair. Come on.
Here's the thing. My Fusion razor that I hardly ever use, the tip fell into the sink and went all the way down. So I was like, oh no. And I was halfway done. And so I didn't have another replacement. So then I went into my sister's room because there's some extras family sets in there. Used it, absolutely sucked. So I still como pendejo in the shower with my phone because there's no sink. It just doesn't work. Had to go to Walmart to buy extra razors. It was
so you had a half shaven
100%
at Walmart,
and then I left a little bit, and then I always leave a surprise because she asks, and I left a little mustache. And you tell me, I'll ask you, fellow gentleman, would this have been better?
No, oh my gosh,
no.
That is. Oh, I gotta think of who you look like.
My name is Inigo Montoya. You've killed my father. Prepare to die.
Clean Shave Tony is here for everybody's enjoyment for the foreseeable future. It takes me forever to gain back confidence. We will introduce Paul as Paul Ball, as in Paul Wall, but it's all good. Big Chair, Jeremy, fantastic individual. Looking good. Look, man, I look younger, and it's okay.
Yeah, no, it looks good. It looks good. Don't get me wrong about that. But just clogging the. Come on, man.
I look like
Be
a
nice.
thumb. Shots fired. Yeah, early on. Why did I even bring you, bro? Like, it's fine.
Hey,
Thank you for filling in for Chiva. Chiva right now is away and taking care of some stuff. Send Chiva your love. He's okay. Everything is all right. You're an adult. Yep, that's exactly how we began today. All right, so let's start with the soccer aspect. San Diego Punto Football is the umbrella title here. 2 balls and a mic. You, my friend, are number one contributor for San Diego Punto Football with your articles, with your work that you do, that you publish. So let's get down to it, right? So San Diego Wave is what's happening here in San Diego, the active team, with some action last Thursday, traveling up into foreign territory, the LA Dome. I know there was some, I don't know,
LA Dome? What it like?
like
Is that a dome?
like
Oh,
Kingdom, like LA Dome.
Okay.
It works. I like this pushback. Chiva never does this. You're like a little feisty.
The chair just gave
It
me
just elevates
this. I
you.
don't know.
Yeah, maybe he needs some of that too. He needs some milk. It's just, again, you're walking into the dumbest show. San Diego Punto Football, welcome. You give it a lot of respect with your contribution. So you went up there and just off the top of your head, I know that you went back and forth with some fans on our Twitter feed as far as like, hey, what was the atmosphere? There's no way they could have gone 19,000 fans on a Thursday to watch NWSL action. Can you confirm, first of all, that that's the turnout that was there? Was it good, like festive for a Thursday? It's interesting.
Yeah, I believe it was 19,103. But first of all, shout out to Cameron Nia, who was there. He was telling me that every game that Wave and Angel City have played at BMO Stadium, they've sold out. Like, they've had full 22,000 seat sellouts.
Wow.
But they decided to have a Thursday game, which is just probably a dumb idea.
Was this the one that got
NWSL part.
rescheduled?
No.
There's one that got rescheduled, right?
That was the beginning of the season, actually.
Okay.
The first game got rescheduled because USC didn't realize that they had like something planned that day, so they had to reschedule that. But I think it was still a pretty good turnout. I mean, for a Thursday night game, the stadium felt packed. There was a lot of fans there, a lot of Wave fans, a lot of sirens up in the section that they have all the away fans and stuff. Didn't get to see Bubbles this match. Last time I was there, I saw the Bubbles come all the way from their away section into the press box, but no reason to bring out the Bubbles.
Cracking down on it too. Just the Snapdragon security came down on their pink balloons. BMO does the same with Bubbles, just confiscating bubble machines. I can imagine just everybody just strapped with Bubbles ready to go. But either way, there wasn't necessarily a reason for the Bubbles. 0-0 matchup.
Sorry, I have to show you this. That I was.
You can show this. Go what I look like. I mean, it's fine. Like, please be my guest. Push back. I like it. Like
you said you knew you looked like something for this.
For that picture.
And for those that didn't see it, just.
I mean, I don't. I'm comfortable in it as I take it off. Here, let's put it back on.
No, it feels mean.
You already put it, which is fine. We had Bubbles, just no goals. Yeah, so there you go. David here in the comment section saying that, by the way, I did have some comments from last week's episode where there was some good discussion happening on the Instagram. Unfortunately, the Instagram comments, when it's on live, it doesn't integrate into StreamYard as well. So we have to kind of pause there. There was some good points. Somebody emailed me, DMD, and we'll talk about it because I kind of want to take your perspective. But actual game came in and it was exciting at the beginning. There was some good back and forth action on both sides, both sides of the ball. So look, at the end of the day, that's what you want to see, is a good matchup. 19,000, like we said, and the game started immediately with Angel City having a chance. Obviously, here's a shot, just testing the waters for Wave. And it seemed like they were doing a lot of pressure. They were moved up on the field, and I think that's why I contributed to this play here, where they're pressing so hard up on that defense that they leave the defensive line a little bit unattended. A mistake here. Kaylin Sheridan doing what she has to do, but either way, that could have been a 1-0 deficit immediately.
Yeah, definitely. But I mean, going back to this lineup, I know Tia likes to start with that. We had Abby Dahlkemper, Naomi Girma as center backs, Kristen McNabb in the left back, Hannah Lundqvist in the right back.
So you say it right.
Okay. Yeah, there we go. That's close. Yeah. Savannah McCaskill, Danny Colaprico, and Jaden Shaw as our midfielders. Then we saw Maria Sanchez on the left wing, Maya Jones on the right wing, and then Elise Bennett kind of playing that 9 position, which I thought was very interesting. This is probably something Chiba would have loved to see. No Emily Van Egmond in that midfield, which kind of worked out for the first half. I thought that they were able to like move the ball through Jaden Shaw, let Jaden Shaw be that kind of 10 role that just gives the ball out and makes problem for offenses. And it was working out well to start the first half.
Absolutely, letting him cook. And I think, while Emily Van Egmond does anchor that midfield with her presence, and she's able to do some good cutoffs, and you have that security blanket, but you lose some of the versatility and dynamic play coming out of that midfield area, because you rely on Danny Colaprico, but if you have Shaw to help her out in that role, it's going to be more dynamic in general. But
And Savannah McCaskill, I was talking about this with some of the reporters there. She was not, I don't want to say cheered, definitely not cheered, booed to some extent when they announced the lineup.
You told
and
me
then
that,
during the corner kicks, they were letting her have it. Savannah McCaskill getting booed by Angel City a lot, which is surprising to me considering she's the leading scorer still in their franchise history, or tied with the leading scorer, I believe, with Claire Lebihion. How do you say it? Do you Lebihin? That's a French name. Lebihin. I'm not the best with French.
First name again, sorry.
Claire Lebihion. I believe it's French. Anyways, but she's tied for that, and she got lots of boos that match. I looked like she definitely wanted to score.
Yeah, that's interesting. Just I don't know if I feel good about that. Just the fact that rivalry LASD translates enough into the realm of booing Savannah McCaskill, who's up there.
Well, some people don't think it's a rivalry, including Casey Stoney.
Casey Stoney
just said that in the midweek match after responding to a question by our friend Tom Krasovic, who clarified that, this is kind of one of those media created things or fan created things that the players don't really, or players and coaches don't really think about much, which honestly, I kind of got a problem with. Okay. We're here to like market the game, kind of. That's what media eventually is, I guess. Technically, we're here to tell the stories, and to tell the stories, like to tell rivalry stories, to tell interesting things like that, and just like being like, oh yeah, it doesn't really exist. We don't really care. It's just any other game. Like, okay, then why should I watch? Why?
I mean, and to be honest, they did act like it was any other game at the end of the matchup where, if it did mean something, maybe there was that one extra push in order to cross that barrier into scoring a goal. Likewise with LAFC. And so if it's it takes two sides to tangle, and if that's the case, like I get it. Yeah, it's super lame. 619 Soccer saying that they weren't a big fan of McCaskill last year. So at the end of the day, like I do like that. There is some pushback. Like if I think there's something that NWSL needs a little bit more, it's a little bit more grit and just a little bit more bite. Just in general, it's still a fun, great atmosphere, but. And I mean, that's a true point. Reign could definitely be classified as the rival for San Diego Wave. At this point, everything's so new.
Yeah, I mean, San Diego's only beaten Reign once. They've been pretty
Exactly.
poor
So how
against
much?
the Reign. My personal favorite matchup is Portland and San Diego. I think
Those are good matchups. Yeah.
They're always great matches. San Diego tends to dominate, I believe, the season series between the two, but those are always fun matches. And then Portland knocked them out of the playoffs their inaugural year. So that's my personal favorite rivalry for watching San Diego Wave games. But I mean, getting back to the game itself, Maria Sanchez had a lot of chances.
And look, there has to be a point where we have to acknowledge, she's getting assimilated to the game, the game style, the playmakers around her. But some of these chances that she was getting. Like, I don't care what your teammates are, who your teammates are, what they're doing. You have to get a better look at this. This here being one of them where I'll give her the benefit of the doubt. It was an awkward bounce. She kind of extended her leg and her body composition wasn't the best in order to strike it correctly. She kind of almost didn't know if she was going to cross it. She was going to chop it, chip it. A good stop, brave stop, just a great chin save there. But that's just one of them, right? Like that's just one where you're like, okay, cool. She's getting the motor in the car warm, like it's warming up. Like we're heading into somewhere where it's going to be an explosive goal, and we're really going to start to see the Maria Sanchez that people were told was going to be part of the San Diego wave, and uh, that'd be, I think, interesting in the next presser to just kind of ask on that, like, hey, like, where are you with the development of Maria Sanchez in your play style and in your squad? But then again, we're gonna have an international break, so who the hell knows? When
10
when
players
it
can
came
be
back.
away from the team. So
Yeah,
it's hard
exactly.
to-
But yeah, I mean, Wave was pretty on it in the first half, and I think that's a trend where sometimes they pick a half to really turn it on, and this seems like a 45-minute team. Then depending what half they play the best is obviously how the matchup is going to end, right? It's not a matter of how you begin it or start the match, it's how you finish it. Um, but a lot of missed opportunities just in general, and I don't know, are you equally as disappointed, or just what do you feel about Maria Sanchez's output here?
Um, Part of the issue is you give those chances, and then the second half, it's nothing. It's complete, just like dead zone where you had the chances at the first. Okay, just keep sending the chances, and then eventually you're gonna make one. Like that header there is a little bit difficult to make, obviously, but I think with time you'll see things are gonna turn out fine enough for San Diego where she's gonna be scoring goals. You're gonna have people like Alex Morgan back in the lineup where they're gonna be able to score goals too. So I think, yeah, it's weird now, but to join a team few matches into the season after requesting a trade is always going to be difficult. Like she's obviously a very talented player, and I think with time she'll probably be able to meld into this output that Casey Stoney and San Diego wants from her. But it's just going to take time.
Yeah. And here, another great play by McCaskill, where I feel like, I don't know, she's doing everything right and hasn't necessarily taken the chances and looks to go at goal and be successful in there, but she's been rather successful everywhere else where she's been able to do major contributions in. And that was a really exquisite pass there to Maria Sanchez. But again, they were knocking on the door, and at the end of the day, like, this is kind of the matchup here where on both sides you have a lot of chances that kind of go directly at the goalkeeper. It's still a shot, it's still a look, it's still an opportunity, a chance, but there wasn't a lot of dangerous plays. We'll see a couple ones here that at the end of the matchup, but Alex Morgan is one of the players that we didn't mention that was part of this the squad available for this match. So is Alex Morgan's absence something that do you feel has put this malaise over San Diego Wave? And could her presence have changed it without her injury?
I initially would think yes, but Mackenzie Doniak was filling a role of scoring goals a lot while she was gone, and she's now out with an injury, which is unfortunate for the team. But yeah, I wouldn't call it a malaise that's continued on. I think it's just you need players other than Alex Morgan and Mackenzie Doniak to score. You got to hope that Jaden Shaw and Savannah McCaskill are scoring more goals. In Maya Jones and Maria Sanchez too. Like when you play on the wings like that, you kind of have to eventually run into a few.
Maya Jones had a couple of good runs, a couple of good interventions along the wings, and she looked good from time to time, making some really good diagonals and really searching for the ball. It just didn't end up working out in second half too. At least Bennett came in. But I think, we can agree that Sheridan doing Sheridan things is always something that's a net positive. I know she was up for a save of the week, I believe. So you can still vote on that for Kaylin Sheridan. And uh, that's the reason why you're where you're at and still have a positive outlook on the season, I believe, for a lot of these games. And then here, this chance here, double save, Alex Morgan getting involved when she's getting substituted in.
Crossbar save there, perfect header. Like that's about as well placed of a header as you can have.
Yeah,
from Alex Morgan there, and just goalkeeper saves it. It's dying minutes of the match, things like that happen. But if you have more chances, it's pretty simple. But just you create more chances to score goals, you're going to score goals. and to have a chance, that's like basically your only good chance in the second half. That was, I think, probably the most frustrating part. I talked with Johnny Richardson, our friend,
Everything San Diego. Shout out.
at the match, and he was like, "Oh, that last sequence kind of made it worth it to make the trip up." And I don't know if I agree. It was a scoreless affair. Like, it's ultimately a boring game, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Sorry, go for it.
Yeah, it's just to have one great chance for San Diego in the last bit was just like, okay. It's like I already wrote my whole thing, and now all of a sudden you're gonna make something interesting happen. Come on, what are we doing here? I mean, that's just the beat.
That has to be the worst. Yeah, no, that has to be the worst.
I don't want to inject my own personal biases with issues like that of just writing, because I realize I do that sometimes when I'm watching the game, where I'm just like, now I have to do another. Like, it's a privilege to be in the press box. I don't need to be complaining about things.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad that you have that outlook, because at the end of the day, like, we were talking about this. You helped me out do a UPSL game, and you had your commentary debut, and this is all just so ridiculous, but it's for a reason, and I think we now have a responsibility, because people do listen, and people are enjoying the output that we have, whether it be through press conferences, through media blasts, through your articles. Your latest article, Wave Offense still stagnant in scoreless draw against Angel City. So stagnant was a choice of words, and you were telling me that you were going back and forth. You didn't necessarily want to go still stagnant, and I think that's just kind of as it is. It's like just trying to get out of quicksand, or just the wheel is spinning, but it's not really moving forward. And I think that's the component that Wave is definitely missing at this point.
Yeah, but there is positives that you can take from this game. Abby Dahlkemper coming back and playing that full 90 and playing really well too was kind of surprising to me, honestly, that she played a full 90. She didn't get called up to the U.S. Women's National Team. So you figure there must be a question of injury issue with fitness or something like that. But she played a great game. Like, honestly, a better game than Naomi Girma. Like, she was making plenty of key passes. She had a good few like long balls up to the top that were near like goal opportunities for San Diego. Like, that's what you hope for Casey. That's what Casey Stoney hopes for. I think having her two center backs healthy like that, making great passes like that. So I think that's the one good thing that you can take out of this game. But other than that, just.
Well, let's hear from Coach Casey Stoney. It was you and Johnny up there in person, representing San Diego as you do. This question kind of got caught out because there was a large door. Do you remember what the setup was from Johnny for this question that Casey began the press conferences with?
I think he was asking about that last sequence, like kind of trying to see like, hey, it's like, how is it deflating to kind of see something like that happen at the end of the game? Like, your best chance. Like, what was her reaction? Then she started off just saying like, it's the story of our season. We can't score goals. And then she kind of went into all this.
Created a lot. We've got to take more chances, but still bitterly disappointed to walk away with a point. I thought first half we were very good. I thought we fell off a little bit in the beginning of the second half. We need to get a little bit more control back. But I thought when we got in the box, we were dangerous, we were creative, but we've had 13, 14 shots, I think even more than that. And our best chances didn't even hit the target, so that's something that we need to continue to work on.
And there's no changes to the defense at all. What does it mean to have this group of defenders back in healthy?
Yeah, it's massively helps in terms of consistency. I think Kennedy's done brilliant when she's been in, exceptionally well. I think Abby gave us something different with the ball in behind today. She's got such a good long range pass. I thought she hurt them with that. And yeah, I think if we can have that consistency with that back four, it just helps in terms of the team in front.
Sorry, I think we have a microphone for the virtual folks. So if anyone else has a question, we'll.
Anyone online? Nobody online? Was anybody online? Was it you next?
No, it was me next. But it was just whatever. Asking about Maria Sanchez's chances there. But
well, look, I think it's valid, right? Like, it's valid to ask about Maria Sanchez again, because it's a question mark. You bring this giant superstar that has had opportunities in various games. She has contributed in very minute areas, but important, right? Her debut game, she had a game-winning slide tackle and hustle to take a ball from a corner into a throw-in. Like, 100%. Like that was a major contribution that gets overlooked on the score sheet. But as a goal scorer and a forward, I think it's a matter of like, hey, like let's get an assist in here. Let's get a little bit of something. So I think
Yeah.
putting those questions are definitely valid.
And I'm very curious to see what she and will look like for this next match with Mexico Femenil. I mean, they're going to be playing Canada, so Maria Sanchez versus Kaylin Sheridan. Maria
Mhm.
Sanchez might be like the fourth. Wait, I think Sophia Jakobsen has a goal against Kaylin Sheridan, I think. Because I know Alex Morgan
Yeah.
scored against Kaylin Sheridan. Jaden Shaw scored against Kaylin
Yep.
Sheridan. So I'm not sure if Sophia Jakobsen, but she could be another one to put a goal up against Kaylin Sheridan, which I think is fun to watch. But we'll see how she looks in that position with Mexico, because a lot of Mexico's players have been in the throes of the playoffs in Liga MX right now. So
Yeah.
we'll see. She'll probably get a lot of minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So this point came from a listener who watches on Instagram, SD Wave FC, is the handle, and essentially here, let me read it to you. They think that everyone's missing the point that Stoney may actually be onto something with the current state of the team. They're in 8th place, not the most ideal place, but they're not far behind from those above, and those behind us are trying to catch up. Sure, we've been the team's been plagued with injuries, so why do the big push for higher ranking on the table and possibly injure our players again? I'll stop right there. What do you think about that? Just kind of like Casey Stoney not necessarily wanting to make that, all in approach, toda la carne al asador, like let's put it all in right now to get as high as we can, because then our players who we have who aren't injured are then going to get fatigued, and then it's going to dip in quality. But that being a intentional move, is that something?
It might be a bit intentional. I think Casey would tell you she wants to win every game,
Mhm.
and that they have the opportunity to win every game. She very highly values the NWSL Shield and things like that.
Mhm.
So that, I don't know if I would think that, but the injury issue was a big thing coming into this
Yeah.
season, considering the Gold Cup and how many miles a lot of those players got. Like Casey was very much talking about it. Like it wasn't so much a schedule thing this year. It was very much just, well, we have international things, and I mean every team is dealing with it for sure. And I think that you don't want to say like, hey, well, every team's going to try and protect their players for the long run. But if you don't have players that are scoring that aren't your like star players like Alex Morgan, Jaden Shaw, like you need some players to contribute in other areas to actually like look good for the rest of the season, I think.
Yeah, it's a long season, and like you said, like while Casey does value that a lot, I think the major focus and goal of the front office of Jill Ellis, of everybody that's involved at the high brass of San Diego Wave, maybe outside of Casey Stoney, because again, she saw last season a super success. You win the league, you don't win the championship per se, but that's just as good, right? Like you look at other tournaments, and you look at on the EPL side of things, right? You look at a team like Manchester United. They won an FA Cup. They won something. So by de facto, they had a better season from second place Arsenal, who didn't win anything. That's the type of mentality that Casey's coming over with, where 100% that's silverware. But I do think that NWSL championship or bust is a mentality. Is it intentional? Maybe, right? Like just a little bit of a throttle situation where that's what you have to juggle throughout the season. And yeah, admittedly, there are a lot of games left for the NWSL, 100%. There's also a lot of international games left. There's just a lot of miles on these
NWSL
players.
Summer Cup is
NWSL Summer Cup schedule just went out for the broadcasting. It's going to be at TUDN. It's going to be on CBS Golazo and Paramount Plus. So it's going to be big profile matchups. And so it'll be interesting to see how that just gets managed overall. So far, look, the Wave won the Challenge Cup. They won the Challenge Cup, and if they go in and win this international tournament, that's a successful season, right? You'd have to think overall it's a successful season. If you don't win the Supporter Shield, you don't win the NWSL Championship, but maybe you get to the final, maybe you get to the semifinal again. Like it's still an expansion team. And I think we've been a little bit spoiled to see this, right? We see a team like Utah, and it's like, oh, that's what Wave could have been in the beginning, but it wasn't that. They just came out guns a blazing from year one. and it's been a, we've been spoiled to see this team. And so I think it's good to have expectations of what's to come because you do have the players. I bet that even with these injuries, half of the teams in the NWSL would be very happy with the backup roster that San Diego Wave has, even though, and keeping in mind, the depth wasn't necessarily the strong suit this offseason. And we've heard this before. I remember Nate Miller always used to say this is quality over quantity, right? You don't have as much depth, but the quality of the players that you have, I do believe, is a little higher, generally speaking, for San Diego Wave this season. But a lot of things to really consider moving forward. And I think we'll put a capstone on that because we'll move into our next section because we do have a guest that is going to be joining us here in a couple of seconds. We're going to hop on with them and really, again, get into soccer in San Diego. This is San Diego Punto Futbol. We discuss everything that has to do with soccer in San Diego. That's from the highest leagues to Bridge Marcata, which we'll also go ahead and talk about just the pickup games and everything that has to do with the culture. That's going to be at 9 p.m. with Paul Nathan. But before further ado, before we get into that, I want to go ahead and welcome back onto the show, onto the podcast. We had him a couple of months ago discussing the Club America Cup. It's going to be happening in partnership with Surf, one of the most important teams here in San Diego in a youth setting. And they had a tournament this past Memorial Day weekend. Hugely successful. We're going to get into it. Without further ado, let's go ahead and welcome to the Two Balls and a Mic and San Diego Football Studios, Mr. Brian Enge. How are you?
Great, guys. Good to see you again. Thanks for having me back.
Yeah, absolutely. Audio is good. We got it. We got it good. We're making sure we're all good to go on that end. Let me kind of throw, guys, we were moving out of San Diego Wave talk. Obviously, your daughter Sierra playing for the Wave. Do you keep up as much as any soccer dad with the team and everything that happens and all that good stuff?
Yeah, it's interesting because just as a San Diego soccer fan, I love supporting the team and would support the team whether Sierra was involved with it or not. And obviously, as a dad, I watch pretty closely and have had a chance to watch a lot of my kids play in college or professionally. And so, yeah, I enjoy it quite a bit.
And in a lot of ways, right? Like you were a team leader, dad, for helping be a major component in spearheading this event that happened this last week, Copa Club America happening, and so you get to see a lot of other dads and other families come together and enjoy their children playing the sport and expressing themselves on the field. Could you just kind of recap and tell us, how this came together once again and really what it meant to see this in the backyard, to see these important tournaments here in San Diego?
Yeah, thanks. It was true joy this weekend, right? See 750 teams playing in a beautiful grass and having great competition, teams from all over the world competing, and really just seeing, kids just, with big eyes and big passion and excitement. Parents, completely devoted to supporting their kids and to watch some of the quality of the teams. I mean, Palmeiras from Brazil was the absolute standout of the event, and to see them play and to see them raise the level of expectation for all the kids around, it was fantastic. As I think I told you guys before, this was just a dream, a year ago, and Club America was gracious enough to listen to our pitch and about what we could do with them in the U.S. and they walked away absolutely ecstatic from the event as well.
Yeah, and it looks like it was a huge success. And what do you think is the most important component on a local sense to have these youth international tournaments? I know you had mentioned in a quote on the website that like this happens on the largest scale. How cool would it be to have the youth really be represented in this too? And you see the smiles here, but I will say that some of the biggest lessons are in these tournaments because you only get one winner, and you also have to face that adversity as not the champion. And so that's a huge component that goes into these big settings. What was that? Just kind of putting it together for San Diego here locally.
Yeah, the big takeaway, honestly, was just having all the local kids get the opportunity to see what the best young Brazilian professionals, the best young Costa Rican professionals, the best young Mexican professionals, what their level was at that age. And look, these are 14-year-old kids and 15-year-old kids and 13-year-old kids. And the ability for a young San Diegan to look at that and say, okay, that's the level, that's the touch that's required, that's the body positioning that's required, that's the composure that's required. That's really the big takeaway. And when you watched Palmeiras, play in the final, you couldn't get a seat around the field, and it was every youth team there watching these kids play. And I guarantee, they learned a lot. They learned that we're still pretty far behind the rest of the world. They learned a lot about, what their game needed to look like in order to get to the next level. And so for just for the youth of San Diego to get exposed to this type of level, and it's really different when you're watching a pro, right? When you're watching someone who's 25, 30 play versus watching someone that's 14 play. And I think you learn a lot more lessons as a 9, 10-year-old kid watching a 14-year-old play than you do, frankly, watching, someone in the MLS.
Hey, Brian, nice to talk to you. I was kind of curious. I've been, kind of showing my girlfriend soccer more and more, and just watching Brazilian soccer is something that I've definitely enjoyed watching more with her, just because it's like you can see that different style, that different beauty to the game, that touch, and watching a young team like that must be a lot of fun. I'm kind of curious. Do you have like a favorite style that you saw of soccer from those youth tournaments that you got to see today?
I mean, hard not to just fall in love with the Palmeiras team. We spent a lot of time with their directors, and they basically had said that age group, the 2010 age group for Palmeiras, had been absolutely killing every team in South America over the last few years. So really, truly the best team in that age group in all of South America. And to watch I think that the best term for me was just smooth, right? Just to watch the smoothness of every action, the smoothness of their run, the smoothness of their gait, the smoothness of their touch, the smoothness of their decision-making. It was absolutely beautiful. And frankly, I think significantly more beautiful than any of the other styles that we saw out there.
So this is $1 million question, right? Like, look, at the end of the day, I, for one, am a Mexican national team supporter, but doing this coverage locally in San Diego, I'm helping the U.S. in a lot of ways. And I think the one biggest aspect is that the entity that needs to know that the U.S. is capable of world domination in soccer and has yet to figure that out is the U.S. So what is that? How do you find that catalyst to make that jump into not necessarily being like Palmeiras, being like those Brazilian teams, but really honing in a style for the U.S. to flourish? And what does that look like? And it has to start here. I remember when Jurgen Klinsmann came to the U.S. and really started putting that academy setting, that was a different tone, and it set up a lot of these stars now for success. But what is that component that's missing, or how can we get that quantum leap from where the Brazilians are and the rest of the world to what's happening here locally?
Yeah, well, I would say, first of all, that's the right term, quantum leap. And sadly, I think when you looked at the difference between our kids that age and those kids, it still is a quantum leap. And it's a reminder that as much as we've made progress, there's a lot of progress to still be made. And, for me, I think a lot of this is just consistency. I mean, you're talking about kids who are coming in and being part of a program and getting the same training and the same consistency and having the patience to focus on development more than winning. And you look at how difficult it is for like our San Diego Surf Boys program, where to even just get consistency, because every year we're losing 5 to 6 kids to MLS academies across the country, right? So you lack the consistency. Whereas even on our girls' side, where we don't have kids getting pulled off, we can be, far more consistent with our approach and our style. And so getting the patience to be consistent and the patience to focus on development, to me, is the biggest difference still between what you're seeing in a place like Palmeiras and a place like, San Diego Surf.
Speaking of consistency, I mean, there's a new MLS team coming to San Diego. I'm kind of curious if
Oh, yeah?
you've had conversations with the team about kind of dealing with that development. I know they have a different project with Right to Dream, but has there been conversations between Surf and San Diego FC?
Yeah, absolutely. And we're, look, we care first and foremost about the player. Whatever development pathway is the best for the player, that's where we want them to be. So we 100% support those guys. Frankly, I think we're making their job easier. They probably had 8 scouts out at our fields, trying to find their first classes. And, we work with them closely. We want to make sure that we're sharing information, sharing opportunities with them. And we think the Right to Dream Academy and the system that they've developed all over the world is incredibly successful, and we'd love to support it as much as we can, both for the kids and for the San Diego community.
So what's next? Is this going to be an annual event with a Club Copa America, or is this going to be something that's going to, transcend into other teams, or maybe a bigger platform, or is going to be hosted somewhere else? Where are those discussions at right now?
No, it's only going to get bigger and better, and it's staying right here in San Diego, guys. This was we signed a 5-year contract with Club America, and I can tell you that they walked away saying, "What else can we do?" I mean,
Wow.
the idea of coming to this country and seeing the market and just seeing how sort of Latin and Hispanic our community is, and how natural that convergence of talent and teams really are. I would say every team, including Palmeiras, every team from Mexico, Costa Rica, all said this was an unbelievable experience for our kids. How can we come back? And so I think what you'll see, the only thing they asked us is, can we do more age groups in the super group? Because we really limited it to 1 age group for the international super group this year. And so their ask was, can we do 2 or 3 next year? We had all the Mexican national team scouts at the event. We had all the scouts from the big clubs in Mexico at the event, MLS scouts, obviously. So I think everybody's just asking for more of the same, and it'll stay right here in San Diego. We can't make it much bigger. 750 teams is about all we can do. But what we can do is we can just keep increasing the quality across the board. And then I think the other big goal is to really drive the super groups on the women's side. And so we had Club America, we had Cholos coming across to compete this year. We really need to drive that piece to make sure that we're doing the same thing on the women's side as the men's side.
Absolutely, and I think there's nowhere better to do that here than in San Diego, where I think that the game ultimately has been recognized and it's been respected, regardless of what side of the ball. If it's the women's game, the men's game. At the end of the game, at the end of the day, it's the game, and I think that's what's really coming through from San Diego. And I mean, you've been knowing it. You're one of those people that has been knowing that San Diego is a hub and has always been just this hotbed of talent. Is this something that, in conversations that you're having with outsiders and just kind of, behind those closed doors of like, hey, thank you, like we've been here, we've been telling you guys in San Diego, like, is that kind of rewarding, or what's
Yeah.
that kind of like?
Yeah, all that stuff is fun. I think honestly, the best piece of that was, Club America basically coming to us saying, we've seen so much talent here. How do we get access to this talent and no one else, right? Because they want to use it as their advantage. And that's an unbelievable compliment to the kids here in San Diego and to the coaches and the whole development system here in San Diego, that they're realizing there's a ton of great talent here. The Mexican national team is constantly in contact with us because they know how much talent there is. They're asking for more identification events. We had a Mexican American identification event right before the tournament, where we invited the Mexican national team coaches and any of the Mexican professional academies. And I think there were 10 academies that attended. So everybody's seeing that there's tons of talent here. Everybody's seeing this is a hot market, and that's just great for San Diego and huge opportunities for the kids here.
Doing great stuff for the community, not just in soccer, but in general, Brian. I know you're involved with the YMCA. I think technically you're my boss's boss. Down here in South Bay. Hi, how's it going? But no, just in general, it's just a wonderful pleasure to have somebody really fighting here in the community for soccer, in and out of the pitch. And what do you wish the soccer community did a little bit more in San Diego, or really kind of was able to showcase of itself? Because I think that's one thing where, much like the US, that they don't realize that they can be this powerhouse. San Diego's always kind of had this Hamlet mentality, this, this little small town. But no, you're a big city, have big talent, and have big dreams. But for a San Diego soccer community, what are we missing in really recognizing in ourselves?
Yeah, it's for me, that's real simple. It's cooperation over competition, right? And we think that's true across the United States. We think that's true in San Diego. I mean, here's this game that we love. We all love this game. And what we end up doing is we end up fighting too much over the game and fragmenting players and quality and fans and everything else, where it's like, look, what you really want to do is just to get together and say, celebrate this game together. And because there is so much power here with the MLS team, with the Wave, and with the youth, all the youth talent and the great clubs that are here, that more cooperation is really the key for me, because it would just bring more power to what we do.
Well, I mean, it's fantastic, and I think that's there's enough of the piece of the pie for everybody, and I think this region has a lot more to give. And I on my end, I just hope that it gets respected again. The game, the people who are putting in the time, day in day out, those athletes, the young athletes who are on a pathway, and it's a choice, and it's sometimes it's one kid out of the three that likes soccer, but the whole family is the one that gets dragged into cutting the orange slices for those games. But I'm pretty sure you're way past the orange cutting for Sierra. No, but she did great, by the way. I need to see more Sierra. Is that something that you as a dad, you gotta have to wean off?
I can't go there. I can't go there. Look, I love watching my kids play is pure joy. The more I get of it, the better. But I'll leave it at that.
Love it. Brian, is there anything else that we can go ahead and know, or just to look out in the horizon in order to get you back again? I love this conversation that we have.
Yeah, the Big Daddies Surf Cup's coming up in July. It's the we'll have 500 college coaches there. It's an awesome opportunity for kids in San Diego to showcase themselves for the next level, if college is their goal. So happy to talk about that at any time.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, this is all the information can be found at surfsports.com. Is that
surfsports.com? Yes.
Yes. Surfsports.com. You can check everything out. Manchester City Cup, also part of another big tournament here. Just a big collaboration soccer wise. And it's really, surf's been around forever. Like, I used to play with Aztecs, man. And, we'd see those cool uniforms. I'm like, man, I wish I had all the nice, awesome stuff, but they also played really well.
I remember the hoodie was a big deal back.
The hoodie was a big deal.
Everyone wanted the hoodie from the Surf Cup, the big tournament. So
there's a lot of Surf Cup hoodies out in the world.
Yeah, definitely.
There's no doubt about it. Yeah, Surf did a fairly good job. We out of the 12 age groups on the boys' side, we won 5 of them. So the club's doing very well.
Absolutely. So that's your San Diego future stars that are coming out of the region. So support surf, support soccer in San Diego. Brian, I really appreciate your time and everything you do in the community. Welcome you back, and we'll talk some Surf Cup when it comes down to it.
Thanks for doing good things in San Diego, guys.
Appreciate it. Have a good night.
Be good.
Thank you. Brian Enge. Look,
cool.
My ear.
Cooperation. That's a good theme to have.
That was good. I like that. Because again, there has to be a lot more in that space with Right to Dream coming in and asking for their share. And it seems like it's a positive, right? It seems like they're collaborating, SDFC, Right to Dream, Surf. It's a really good point. That did do a huge favor, just like rounding up all the local talent already, at least in the North County area for the majority of the part. But I like that. I'll take that. Thank you again, Brian. Thank you for your time. Really exciting things that happen around in San Diego. I like that he was like, yeah, like I have other kids too that play. I'm like, I know, but Sierra. I wish I would have had him like right after she played her first game. Like, hey, bro, like she played great. Like she played great in that game. Like excellent. Absolutely. Oh, season's greetings, Daniel. Joining us a little bit late, and checking the Instagram because people always like, I commented on the Instagram and you didn't read. Sorry. Okay, we're good to go. Thank you for everybody joining us across the fields, across everywhere, across the universe. Great musical. You like musicals?
Yeah, I like musical. Yeah. The actual musicals themselves, I'm not like movies. Musical movies, I love musical movies, but like an actual musical itself, I haven't been to many.
Okay, musical movies. What's
I love West Side Story. It's great.
West Side Story,
West Side Story. All the high school musicals are great.
Okay, well, that's questionable.
I would fight you on that, but
did you say all of them? Did that come out of your mouth right now?
Yeah, they're all pretty. Like
All
all
of
three, the three High School Musical, the trilogy, like they're all good. It's cheesy high
I'll
school.
give you the first one. The first one was a game changer.
No, the
like,
second one just encapsulated summer to
but
me.
because of
As a kid, that's what you want. You're like, oh my gosh, I wish I was a white kid going to a country club.
no,
That sounds so cool.
because
like,
see,
they're working, they're just having fun with all their friends at a country club, like playing baseball too.
Corbin Blue should have been the main character. Just saying. That guy is awesome. Zac Efron did all right for himself, I guess. But then that
Yeah.
led into Glee and all that hodgepodge.
I guess, but if we're talking about that movie though, too, like he did his friends dirty in that movie. Like
hey man, you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, but also like he should have left. He should have left his
Camp
girlfriend
Rock.
at the time.
That's a good one. The Jonas Brothers. I'm not gonna lie, that was a good one.
Yeah, that was a good
But
one too.
see, I'm a little bit more sophisticated. I like Mamma Mia.
Okay,
You don't like Mamma Mia?
it's all right. It's all right.
Season's greetings to Francisco joining us here. Wonka Wonka
It was a good movie. I didn't even finish it. If I'm being
is
honest.
Willy Wonka a musical?
Well, the
Or-
new one. He's talking about the new
Yes,
one.
the
I
new
think.
one, but like even
Yeah,
the
it was a
old one,
musical.
they
There was so many songs in that. They didn't want to say it was a musical. It's weird. They don't advertise movies as musicals anymore. I don't
except
know
the
if you
new
noticed.
Joker one.
They're not even advertising it as a. But that's the thing, though. All the trailers, none of them are gonna have songs or music or any of like. If you watch any movie musical kind of trailer, none of them actually admit that they're a musical. That new Mean Girls movie, I didn't love that movie.
See, you got to do your research though. Like I knew it. Like I
Well,
know what I'm getting
I
into.
knew too, but like it's there. Why are you hiding the fact? Like just be proud of yourself. People they don't think people are gonna go to the movies to watch that. I guess
Was it-
movies are dying or whatever. Movie theaters are dying everyone
until
says that.
Tom Cruise comes back with a Mission Impossible that's just once again slightly possible
Maybe.
somehow. I like Across the Universe. I like Chicago. Chicago is good. This is a very old school musicals. Hairspray with John Travolta was good.
Grease.
Grease, classic.
Classic.
Questionable lyrics at times.
Oh, definitely.
Tell
Shouldn't
me
be made
more.
today.
Tell me. Yep, absolutely. I need to see singing in the
Singing.
rain. Signing in the rain. I'm singing in the rain. Mary Poppins, another good one. Shout out to Musical Talk as Paul Nacu has joined here in the StreamYard. All right, so jam-packed full of guests today. We have been having a segment in the last couple of weeks. Francisco, actually, who's joining us in the chat, was part of it. We had Esteban, who was absolutely floored and shocked with my clean-shaven face. I don't know if he's recovered yet. He's probably passed out from the shock itself and hasn't been here. Shout out Esteban. But in any case, the new segment is Retas SD. So Retas, as you know, is king of the court type of thing. That's what in Mexico we call that, like king of the court. You win, you're out. Winning team stays. Actually, just refereed at the Y. Some retas.
Okay.
I'm a good referee, man.
What
I'm
makes you a good
such a-
referee?
Because
you seem way too egotistical to be a good referee. I'm sorry.
Because I love the sanctity of the rules. You got to respect the rules. And whenever something's questionable, I'll give you the reason in order for you to learn, in order to go ahead and not do that, or do that next time. Like just let you play. Like I'm no nonsense, and I'll have a laugh with you. Like it's fine. But now if we're getting a little bit serious, if I have middle schoolers, throwing words out that are going to get me into having to do paperwork, then I'm just gonna be like, hey, look, I get it. Just use something else. Just don't say that. Oh, okay. And then they'll say, oh, fiddlesticks. Some kid said fiddlesticks.
How many cards did you give?
I gave 3 imaginary cards because Chiva actually promised me that he was going to get me a new Fox 40 referee whistle, which is the official referee
You
whistle.
need a special whistle to referee. Is there a difference?
It's in the car. Yeah, Fox 40, bro.
It's just.
I was a
whistle.
ref.
What do
I
you
was
mean?
an actual referee, bro. I know what I'm
Is
talking
there,
about.
There's a difference in whistles now for referees.
Now there's. Oh,
I
bro.
mean, I'm sure professional referees
Sorry, Paul.
have to wear like the fancy whatever whistles that can just easily be reached, but like it's a whistle, man. Just get what happened to
No.
the old little metal thing
Like,
It's
with
got
a little chicharro? No.
the
Are we
little
are we are we
thing.
in a swim meet? I don't think so. All right. So Fox 40, this is a standard just whistle, and that's loud enough. You see these at the classic. You see these at good Big Five, Big Dick Sporting Goods, whatever. Come in a variety of colors. What I like. I had asked them for a pink one, or the most vibrant one, but didn't get it together. If not, you can also get the one that was used in CONCACAF and a lot of Liga MX, the Tornado. The Tornado whistle, which is this one right here. I actually like the design, but it's just not necessarily ergonomic and as comfortable. But it is louder and it's a different tone. But the classic like whistle, whistle, whistle is the Fox 40. Fox 40 is the gold standard of referee soccer whistles.
Was this was the indoor facility too, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So you need a fancy whistle for an indoor facility where you
Well-
could just yell or you could just
I can't do that, but yeah,
can't either,
absolutely.
but-
No, absolutely. Like you have to. And since I wasn't supplied it, I had to go look at my old archives and find my old Fox 40 whistle and give it a little clean. So don't worry, officiating wise, everything was above board. The Fox 40 did serve its purpose. People were impressed. It's like, wow, that's a loud whistle. Absolutely, only the best. I asked for cards. I sent an Amazon link for a red card and yellow card from FIFA, and it's a little booklet, and I can write the little names. For King of the Court, Bridge Barcata style, it's never going to be necessary, but I still wanted it just in case. In any hoot, referee, I'm a good referee, sir. If you want a referee just for the shits and giggles, let me know, Paul. With that, I've said his name 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times already. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and delve into this segment, Retas SD, where we're going to go ahead and talk about everything that has to do with soccer in San Diego, from the top leagues to Bridge Barcata, underneath a bridge. Literally a bridge is where it started, cleaning up over on Mission Valley. We're going to get into the history of it a little bit, some of the major accomplishments that have happened as of recently. Have you ever been to Bridge Barcata?
I've seen it before from afar.
Okay.
I think when I was just at Chicano Park, but
Okay.
I've never actually played or
Hey,
been myself.
that is absolutely fine. Yes, we will get to Penales a little bit later. Francisco, who really got into the musical movie talk, why not? Would have never happened with Chiva here. I could guarantee you that never would have happened. He'd be like, I never watched that movie. Oh, okay. All right, Paul. Hello, Paul.
Hey, season's greetings.
Season's greetings to you, Paul. Paul Ball, as the great Carl requests that you be introduced as. Is that a joke? Is something I don't know? It's absolutely fine as he shrugs. You in your shrine of the merch mansion at your home, everything in there has to sum up to a small fortune. Maybe not just in a monetary sense, but definitely in an emotional sense. Paul, welcome to the show once again. I believe, yeah, once again, have I had you on? We've had you on.
I don't know, but thank you for having me.
Well, welcome on, Paul. And we wanted to make this connection just because there's a lot of things always happening in the street soccer world, and I hope that people who are watching, who are listening, maybe who don't know, might get away with we're like, oh, okay, like this is a good guy and he has some good stuff. But more than that is that you are just a monumental person in San Diego. Don't cock your head like this is me telling you, all right? In terms of the street soccer scene and just really the heartbeat of soccer in San Diego, just the selflessness and selfishness, because you want to play soccer too. Let's not get it twisted here. You also want to go ahead and be part of the games as much as anybody else. But you help host pickup games and really put this pickup soccer aspect into the limelight. And as I mentioned earlier, you and your 17 accounts always do a great job of highlighting on Instagram, highlighting the game in the streets and everything that's happening in the barrio. So, I mean, we know how it came together a little bit. You, your friend, our pal, Drew, Daryl, Tony, not me, other Tony, right? Correct?
From Chicano Futsal. Yeah,
Chicano
Tony.
Futsal. Just putting it all together. Just kind of give us a summary of where we're at now with the Bridge Barcata movement.
Mm-hmm. That's a lot. Well, right now, there is a lot of momentum. There's a lot of groups popping up all over San Diego. So not just Bridge Barcata, but different groups from all over, like North County football and Escondido, Chula Vista pickup and Chula Vista. Mountain View's gonna start popping off when their courts are done. And of course, Chicano futsal at Chicano Park and Normal Heights and Mission Beach. They're everywhere. So yeah, it's growing, and there's more groups popping up, not just in San Diego, but all over the country as well. As we see more groups kind of follow the kind of social media model, just post your pickups and people will come. And I think that's been pretty cool to see, and it is growing to a world stage, as we will get into later. But
which is
yes,
insane because you guys have had what was it, the official Adidas
Tango
tournament,
League.
the Tango League, yes,
Yeah.
and like that was pretty big a couple of years ago, and really put a highlight on Chicano Park as a realistic venue for some of these great things that are happening. We need to get you out there, Abe. We need a first of all, I need to see your soccer skills. I don't think I've ever seen you kick a ball.
Yeah, I don't kick balls at the games that we cover. I keep myself a
Very
little bit
true.
divorced from that, but if I get on the court, I don't think I'd be great. If I'm being honest, I'm a
It's
center
fine.
back.
Okay.
I like to just start from the back, build my way up. It's a little bit fast paced for me. I think I could get the hang of it, but to play at Chicano Park is probably one of the coolest things that you can do. I mean, Chicano Park is legendary in the entire nation. I think it's beautiful.
I have
venue.
to believe so, and with that, you have to be careful, and that's something that Paul, you've learned throughout this venture, and everybody else had to learn. Don't hit the murals. Don't use the
Yeah.
walls. Don't like. There's rules to these things, and I think everybody's been doing such a great job that the city's not necessarily coming down on those pickups, and I think
Right.
now there's that mutual respect. But Paul, there is something that overall the spirits, the mana of Bridge Barcata was always, just let us have a place to play, guys. Like let's just get together, a group of friends. It doesn't matter who and how it gets together. Like let's just do it. I remember I actually have 2022, we went under next to the San Diego Loyal offices,
Yep.
underneath another bridge, and honestly, like it was one of those memories of just playing soccer. And I've had a lot of great positive soccer memories, but I just don't have as much fun than just playing like this. Like it's just something so cathartic, something so cool. Like literally anything and everything can happen. Like there's shards of glass everywhere. We clean it up, and again, this is the later iteration because you and Brandon and Drew and Cesar Hernandez were pioneers in clean up underneath the bridge for soccer. But overall, it's like from this into where we're at now, it's incredible. So what's happening at Chicano Park that is really something that is incredible.
Yeah. So ever since we started and that that pitch under the bridge flooded, we moved to Chicano Park, and one of our main things was we need goals. We don't have goals at the park. There's so many basketball courts in a square mile in that area, and like zero soccer courts. And so, like, why can't we just have one space that has some goals? And this has been a dream of ours for 5 years. We've been there since the prototype of the Gopher goal that you'll see. Um, and yeah, we finally made it happen just recently this past week on last Friday. They finished the build for our first Gopher goals, or the over under initiative, um, started by Kyle Martino. And this first was the sponsor that we got first was Loyal, but they
Mhm.
ceased operations, and thankfully another great organization came in with Shannon and San Diego Wave. So they're the ones that really helped push it over the goal line and made it happen for us. So that was like a 2-year process. So
Wow.
it has been just an amazing, like, to be persistent and patient with this whole process, with the city, with the park, with everything, like environmental impact, cultural impact, trying to figure out who to talk to, who are the right people, and for them to finally get over the line was just amazing.
It's honestly incredible the manpower, the time that it takes to get something like this done. And I mean, kudos once again to San Diego Wave because being able to hire Shannon is as a huge asset and really pick up where the stopped literally, and just these dreams that are just coming together. And look, just what we're seeing now is the construction crew is cutting into a historic site
Yep.
at Chicano Park. So to have this really come together is a testament to, again, the work that you have. And man, like, look at that. Like, it's just incredible. Like, so cool. The fact that that's a thing. And they're built to last.
Yep.
They are in there. You can't steal them. You can't take them. Like, it's not even like that. Like, if anybody who's going to go ahead and play it here now will know, like, no, these are the goals. And this is where we come in and have a good time, have fun. And at the end of the day, just bring a ball and bring some people
Yep.
and have a good
Exactly.
time. Is this your footage, Paul?
Yes, this is me, camera on my head.
You get some of the best footage. Look at that was a
touch.
fantastic touch and the post and the ball.
Yes, I am pretty selfish. I do want to play all the time.
That was me.
I didn't kick him
Yes.
there. And then guess what? You just put it back, click it together, and it's absolutely safe for everybody and anybody who wants to play ball. Because guess what? At the end of the day, it's still a basketball court.
Yes.
But guess what? It's a soccer specific basketball court. Whenever Bridge Barcata, Chicano Futsal, and company go over, it's as much as a soccer specific venue as anything else. I'm pretty sure if you put a basketball court in Snapdragon, it becomes a basketball. All right. Speaking of SDFC,
Yep.
SDFC has been having a Chrome Ball tour that's been touring across the city. And again, the city turned to Paul, along with soccer in San Diego and SDFC, as so far as like, hey, like, we're trying to do these street tournaments. Like, how do we go about this? And you've been there since day one, not necessarily advising like Jafar to the Sultan and Aladdin. I don't know why that's the first thing that came to mind, but you've been there and been in talks and been in discussions to really keep the soul of the street aspect and what's been built alive and in the front of the head of the people who are putting this together for the MLS. So you've been involved with the Chrome Ball Tour. What's that relationship like with SDFC at this point?
With Bridge Barcata,
See,
I mean, they are really pushing this initiative for street soccer in San Diego. It's not just this Chrome Ball tournament. There's a lot of other things happening in the background with the soccer community, especially us and the other groups that I started to mention, like Chicano Futsal, North County Football, Chula Vista Pickup. I mean, we already had meetings with them on how to grow this community and really make San Diego the go-to spot for street soccer, not just in the nation, but in the world. It's very, very like ambitious goals, but that's what they want to do. They want to make San Diego the center of soccer, and it's not just the team, but they want to see it in the community. They want to see it all over the county, not just at Chicano Park. They want to see it in every single city. They see that there's a lot of potential here, and people play soccer all over the place. And street soccer is just one way to make it a little bit more accessible to more people. You don't have to pay. You don't have to be in a club. You could just go to a court or a location and play. And I think that's what they're really pushing. So I'm very impressed by their ambition. And so far, I mean, look at other MLS clubs in the country. I don't see anyone putting on 18 full-on tournaments. Like, credit to Marcos from La Liga Barrio. Like,
yeah,
he's been putting on these tournaments, and they're high quality tournaments. So if you want to prove to yourself that you're the best in San Diego, you should sign up for this tournament because it's not easy.
I was at the Chula Vista Chrome Ball event, and I was genuinely scared a little bit. They were going pretty hard, like with such tiny area. Like it's crazy how fast paced, how strong, how physical that kind of soccer is. Like it's beautiful.
And look, I don't know how you got Drew Ruggles and Boris Pardo on your team. Like, and this is a conversation that Paul and I had before this is like, yeah, like he invites me to play in these times. I played up in Poway, and like I still haven't recovered from that. That took me out of commission for a good 2 weeks. Like legitimately, I was like, oh my God. But we won a game, and honestly, that was fantastic. But then you replaced Chiva and I with Drew Ruggles and Boris Pardo. I think you guys upgraded a little bit here. This is again, you're such a conduit to soccer in San Diego. It's like, what's going on? Like, you got these two players that are just on the off season for the
It feels like it
Sockers.
shouldn't be allowed. Like we're having San Diego Sockers play against.
No, but guess
No.
what? The locals, one of our pals, and our pal Fabian, puts some of that teams together, also does that. So it's an even playing field, I'd say. You're right, Paul?
Yes. Yes, it is pretty even despite us getting some soccer players on our team. Believe it or not, there are better teams. It really takes a team to really play these things, and you could have one or two really awesome players, but you really have to be a team to really win through these things. And some of these teams, which I hope SDFC really highlights some of these teams because they have tremendous stories, like where they're from, where they're coming from, and their backgrounds, and who's actually playing in these things. Because I don't know, I just feel like some of them are just mercenaries. They play these tournaments to win. They join these make super teams, and yeah, they really again makes it really hard to win these things because you're playing against some top people like semi-pro, past pros, or people in the UPSL or whatever. You may encounter a lot of different people in these things.
Yeah, and then you really get to see the level of different things, right? Like you can have a team full of incredibly fit firefighters and policemen, then put them against
Yes.
somebody who plays soccer on a day in day out, mercenaries, as you say, Paul, just absolute lethal strikers and players. Like you're going to see a difference in a lot of these things, and just a little bit of insight on this last Vista one. Like you're talking about how important the game is, the street aspect of it, right? There's like this pickup barrio connectivity with the city. I know that Vista originally didn't have a tournament planned. They didn't have a tournament planned at all because they had just done the Chula Vista one. Like they're moving in. The Chula Vista one's the biggest one. And did not necessarily didn't find a need for it, but it just wasn't in their stars and their plans to do. The city of Vista approached SDFC and company and said, "Hey, we want a tournament. Like we want one." So they put it together, and again, another great outing for soccer on that space. But this last one, is there any one tournament that stands out for you, Paul, for SDFC in the Chrome Ball Tour? Maybe aside from Chula Vista, because again, that was the biggest one. I think that one was a little bit special, like a soccer street carnival type of deal in all the positive
Right.
ways. But is there anything that kind of has stood out from one of these?
Yeah, for me is Poway because I grew up close to Poway, Rancho Penasquitos, and I played soccer there when I was a kid. And for a professional team to go there and take the time to go to that space at the San Diego North County Soccer Park, or Poway North County Soccer, was it North County Soccer Park? Yeah, to go there and to have that tournament there and involve that community, because that indoor facility has been there forever, and I grew up there. My brother played there, and to me that was pretty cool because like everyone else, they're coming to you. They're coming to your town. They're not asking you to come drive super far or whatever. They're coming to your city, which is amazing. They're not like we're too big. We're gonna skip this city. It's too small or whatever. They're making an effort and they're coming out there and they're giving the opportunity for everyone to try to experience this. That's why we try to mix up our teams as much as possible to get as many people to experience this kind of tournament. And of course, we won and I scored. So that
Look,
was one of my highlights because it's really hard to score. So I was
yeah,
really excited about that.
that was honestly, again, I'm talking about like making memories in the soccer verse and just like little things like that, and definitely getting out there with Willie Santos and having Willie Santos score a goal as well.
Yeah.
It's just like there's certain things that really kind of put things into perspective, and just being able to lose yourself in that moment, in that power one that you mentioned. I mean, I was nervous as hell. Like I was like, what is a 1v1, guys? Like, is it goalkeeper wars? Like, well, what's gonna like nobody knew the rules in a way. I was just like, okay, we're gonna figure it out. Ended up being a really cool time, and just in general, it's just one of those things that I'm really thankful to be able to kind of enjoy and just kind of, have a smile while playing. And you're talking about teams and everything coming to your city and coming to where you are. Something that is coming to you, San Diego soccer people, to Chicano Park specifically, to bring it back, is going to be the ISFA Street World Cup. Is that correct? I believe it's the San Diego Regional International Street Ball Football Association World Cup qualifier tournament at Chicano Park, where the winners will qualify for the U.S. national tournament in LA in September. Winner of that will represent the USA at the ISFA World Cup in Latvia. That's going to be later in November. Get your teams together. 4 players max. Get familiar with the rules. Go out and play. You guys are doing 3v3 sessions, and then after a certain time, Chicano Futsal will take over with 4v4 sessions. And that's all happening at Chicano Park. So I know you are an expert and just have this insight on what's happening, Paul. So can you just kind of give us like the layman terms of like what does this mean for us, and just anybody wants to participate or get involved?
Yeah, this idea popped up a year ago from the international street soccer community. So it's the International Street Football Association, and this is founded in Europe. So street soccer is huge over there, and so like they decided, because a lot of tournaments in the past have been sponsored by like Nike, Red Bull, Adidas, whatever, but they've kind of took their foot off the gas a little bit, so it kind of left the community to like to their own devices to develop their street soccer scene. And so now it's grown so much that this organization was like, let's have our own tournament. So this is all independent. There's no major sponsors involved at all. So it's really grassroots. So they reached out to street soccer groups all over the world to ask them to hold qualifiers in their cities, and then from there to have a national qualifiers for their nations to represent, to send to Latvia, Riga, for the World Cup finals in November. And I think there's only 10 cities in the United States that were chosen, and San Diego is one of them because of the work that we've done with street soccer here, and how they see this as a very unique region, because they have one in LA, but LA is a different market, different style. And so they're like, let's also have it in San Diego. So we are going to have a US regional tournament in San Diego, and it's still being planned and worked out, but it's a 3v3 tournament, and we're hoping to have it at Chicano Park sometime in August. And so right now we're just having 3v3 sessions on Fridays to try to get people used to these rules, because it's very different. It's a 3v3. It's not 4v4 that we're used to. And the rules have their own like quirks and stuff. Like there's like a penalty area you can't step in, PKs. So it's very different. So you want people to get used to it. You want to get people. You want eventually to send the very best from San Diego to this national tournament in LA, and we want San Diego to represent the United States. And then if they win it, then the World Cup comes to San Diego.
Yeah, that would be really cool. I mean, we talk about 3-person teams. I think you, me, and Chiva might be able to. You might need to strap them up and hop over to Chicano Park on
Paul
Friday.
knows this competitively. I am retired.
We've tried to lure him out several times. We were successful at Poway, but yes, he's very hard to get.
But the opportunity to go to a World Cup, Tony, isn't that the whole point of the podcast?
That's a different World Cup.
Yeah,
it's a different World Cup.
Definitely a different World Cup. How do the goalkeepers work? Like, is there any?
There is no goalkeepers, so
Okay,
it's 3v3.
okay.
So you really have to be able to defend and counterattack and all that stuff. It's
See,
different strategy.
I can do that. I can play from the back. I think one of my finest games that I played Barcata style was at Linda Vista, um, when it was a photo shoot with Ryan for early SDFC. I think we played on the same team, and I was like, oh, okay, I still got some of this. I'm getting in shape, just health wise. Again, haven't eaten solid food in about a month and a half. Um, Sucks. But all right, we'll see it. But if there's somebody else who's better, or I'm just not good enough, I'd rather have the confident hands from San Diego or feet be represented by somebody who can actually win it in LA. But no, I mean, great stuff all around, Paul. I know that this is still a passion project, and there's different groups that are coming up, and Barcata has really kind of transcended just being, hey, like, let's go play over here. Like it's really a movement. And are you happy where things are? And obviously there's people who not necessarily are as invested as you, who have been in the past, just because Drew moved away. He's in Wisconsin, which is fine, Drew. It's fine, but you've been carrying the brunt of it. Are you still enjoying it? Because again, like I say this about the podcast, the moment I'm not enjoying it, we'll stop the streak and we'll stop doing it like 100%. But are you still enjoying it? Is this still as good as?
Yeah, I mean, every time I say like I'm gonna stop, like things like this pop up, like this World Cup. Like I was like, once we got these goals, it's a huge accomplishment for us. Like this is our main thing, to get a place to play and have goals available like 24/7. And since we've accomplished that, it's like I thought that was going to be that's it, which it kind of is. But there's these things that kind of keep me playing, like keep pulling me in, like these opportunities to really have an impact. Of course, I'm trying my best to share it with as many people, so it's not just Bridge Barcata. Like Chicano Futsal has definitely stepped up and really pushed it even further with how many games they play every week, like 3 or 4 pickup sessions, maybe 5 a week. So I think like I'm happy where it is. If I step away, like right now, I'll be good. But there's a lot to leave. Like I said, like with SDFC and their initiatives that are coming out soon, like there's a lot to look forward to in street soccer in San Diego. Like I said, it's gonna be even bigger. It's hard to imagine now because we've grown it so much, but
Mhm.
it's gonna be uh, bigger, especially with this international tournament. There's gonna be a lot of eyes on this. So I mean, I'm excited, and so if I'm still excited about it, I'll try my best to stay with it. But my son's getting older. I
Mhm.
just finished coaching his second season,
Oh,
and so like I'm more time with my family. But yes, stuff like this still like tempts me to keep going.
yeah. Well, I mean, you're doing a great job, and you really have been. Um, and that's just part of your soccer life, right? Like, I don't know how much time you have, if you have more than 24 hours in a day, because of everything that you do in the soccer verse and just existing in your regular life.
Yeah,
But you're a huge part of Wave as well, in a way that with Loyal, as you mentioned, like with their passing. It's now kind of Wave is the thing that's happening, right? SDFC is doing these events. They're kind of putting things together, but they're still having kicked the ball officially. I'm pretty sure you can't start a game with 3. It's called a ganas por default loss or win. But you're part of the Wave movement, the Cove. You're there
mhm,
with the vesty besties, as you're
yeah,
wearing it right
the
now. I think that's
best.
a absolute staple.
Sirens.
Shout out the Sirens. Next week's Call the Sirens. We're back, the member of the Cove and the Sirens. But look, we have you here. So I mean, is that really scratching the itch for you? What you've been able to experience with Wave and all that?
Yeah, I mean, I've been involved with American Outlaws, and so we support both teams, men's and women's, and like I've gone to the Men's World Cup. I've gone to the Women's World Cup in Canada, and like for us to have a top flight team in San Diego, whether it be men's or women's, I don't care as long as it's soccer and they represent San Diego. And like it has been pretty pleasantly surprised how much like I've enjoyed women's soccer because to be honest, NWSL wasn't on my radar at all. It was just like the women's national team, and then for us to have a team was like, I don't care, I gotta support this team. If I know nothing about this league, we have a team here, so I gotta support it. And especially since we have Alex Morgan, like the player, marquee player in the world, like you cannot just ignore that. And like it's been enjoyable to see like the games and just a new way of supporting with the Sirens because they had kind of like they came with a clean slate, so they had no like they have to follow a certain rule or whatever. This is how a supporter group needs to be. They just made it their own, and I really enjoyed that. I've tried to be like, oh, it should be this or that, but to be honest, I just step back and be like, this is awesome to see, and it's kind of refreshing to be like, this is different. And so I think credit to the Sirens, they really push through, they keep growing, and to see these stadiums like sold out is just ridiculous.
Yeah, and I mean it all goes down to the game. Again, this is kind of the theme again, just the game. Just respect it, guys. Shout out to Paul, says Esteban, Edwin the Great. Also Arriba la America, and I believe he also said that on Instagram. So shout out to Paul again, because game recognizes game, and I think this is something that is really important to have the people who are wholeheartedly in it, without any agendas at the end of the day, because there's people who are into the soccer verse, and I'll put myself in that, right? Selfishly, I want to get to the World Cup, but if I'm genuine about my intent, I'm going to have a great time, even if I don't make it to the World Cup with a media credential and cover it, right? Like I think this experience has been worthwhile. It'd be nice, but just being able to really be genuine about it and just give back so much is something that you don't see very often, Paul. And again, I want to just give you your due diligence in that and your flowers, because I mean it takes a lot. It takes a lot, and I really hope that people also step up as Chicano futsal stepping up and doing everything that they're doing, and North County football, Chula Vista pick up, just everybody coming together. We should host a tournament.
San
Like
Diego Punto Football
the San Diego Punto Football
Clásico,
tournament,
Copa.
and we can have it. And I think we have connections at that new indoor arena, or even if it's street soccer, like it's fine. Like we should definitely host a tournament in order to do that. And I don't know, this is literally just came to my head, but let's talk about it, Paul. I'd want to set something up, get some sponsors, get a little Dick's Sporting Goods $25 shield, and then tell the winners, hey, it's for a photo op, you got to give it back. Sorry guys, Chrome SDFC, you got to get one out of me. Give the people the shield. The teams won. The little thing that they hold at the end.
SDFC take it back?
Yes, and this is from sources, but they don't get it. I actually
what do they win? Do they just win like a gift card, or do they win anything?
I don't know,
like,
but
do they keep like the little bibs that they wear?
No, they
too?
don't. And
No, they get the jerseys. They get the winner. The finalists get to keep their jerseys.
Okay.
And then they do get to take home the medals. I'm not sure about the trophy, but they do get stuff. And then they have some other financial incentives. I don't know. I don't know the cash prize amount, but yeah, it is a good incentive.
This is just inside baseball. I did try to get that trophy with the SDFC sign, because I'm like, hey, because I know it's not here because of that. I'm like, hey, like, you guys have it? Like, well, how much? Like, can I borrow it just to feature it here and just have it here for an episode? They're like, no, we don't get to keep it. So it's like, oh, okay, that's fine. Out of $500 million, I'm kidding. They're doing a great job over at SDFC, and everybody involved. Paul, I mean, it's an absolute pleasure to have come across you just in the soccerverse here in San Diego, because again, just from going to the hangar, version 1, version 2, and just the growth of everything. It's really impressive to have somebody who just is as dedicated, and soccer in San Diego wouldn't be the same without people like you and just you specifically. So, from everybody, soccer in San Diego, gracias. Keep doing it, please, because
Yep.
or just once you're ready, just if it's ready to be handed off, then there we go.
Yeah, there is one more thing. There is a tournament that Chicano Futsal is putting on Rey del Barrio. It's going to be the end of June, so keep an eye out on that. It's basically their fundraiser to help with equipment and things like that. So it's a good little opportunity if you don't want to go to the Chrome Ball tournament, and if you want to experience a tournament in Chicano Park, that's a good way to do it. So keep an eye out. Still be to be determined. Info is still kind of not out there yet,
Mhm.
but that'll be another tournament to help you get ready for the Eastfoot tournament as well after that. So lots of soccer going on in San Diego.
Absolutely, and we're definitely going to get some more people into this space, Retas SD, to talk about everything that's going on in that space of soccer, because it is incredibly important. And I mean, before we let you go, just any thought on having Christina Birkenroad bring the trophy to Chicano Park?
Maybe we can get her to do that. Definitely, she could bring the medal, but yeah, I think that was really cool to see her win another championship at Rayadas. I even have her shoe right here.
Whoa.
Does she know you have that? No.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was supposed to be a giveaway, but the person never picked it up, so I was like, I have her shoe.
You know,
Good
San Diego, we got to be better about that. This SDFC San Diego football shirt was actually somebody won that from the Oceanside one, and just we haven't been able to connect. And then I saw them at the Chula Vista one. I'm like, oh, dude, the one time I don't bring, it's like, keep it, it's fine. I'm like, but you won it. He's like, no, it's fine. But yeah, I mean, it's a really cool, just everything overall. Hopefully, we see Christina Birkenroad score a couple of goals on those new over/under initiative goals that were built at Chicano Park. Thanks, San Diego Wave. Paul, is there anything else?
No, I just really appreciate the invite to come out here and really share what we've accomplished. And again, this is thanks to everyone that has supported us, that believed in what we do with free pickup. And I just want to thank everyone and thank you for shining a light on soccer in San Diego as always. So thank you.
Yeah, that was awesome. I think I'll be out there on Friday. I'm gonna try and make it. I think I have Friday open.
I'm
check
trying
it
to think
out.
if I have Friday open, and then we can make that dream, you, me, and Chiba happen, and then just get absolutely destroyed. We'll see. But I go if not, just go ahead and keep an eye out on Chicano Futsal if you want that side of the table. On the other side of the table is the classic, but it's all the same thing. Bridge Barcata. Follow Bridge Barcata on Instagram. Follow him on anywhere. Paul, they can find your 13 Instagrams, all very successful, incredibly successful. I don't know how you do it. I might just throw San Diego Punto Football's Instagram onto you. But again, keep doing what you're doing, Paul, and we'll have you back just to talk and update us on things that are happening. Soccer, street soccer wise, coming up.
Of course. Anytime.
Perfect. Thank you, Paul.
All right, take
Get
care.
you away right here. Bye-bye. And then he put him right there. What a powerhouse.
That's so
yes.
cool, man.
Brian Enge, Paul, Nathan, I mean, Mr. Nacu, Paul Ball.
Two very different elements of San Diego soccer, but very important because it's on the youth level, in very high level, future U.S. national team players or players around the country. Like there's a Mexico South there, and then you have street soccer with just every person. And then they're gonna be qualifying for World Cups.
Yeah,
they're gonna be hosting tournaments like that. It's nuts how important soccer is to this community.
And that's the thing too, the fact that it's free soccer,
that's the best part.
It's such a mind-boggling thing where it's like, I used to play between two cars, each wheel is a post.
Yeah,
and it was
drop a hat.
It was involuntary. The cars had no participation. The owners had no choice in it. That's just our goal. one day actually it was I was playing and one of my neighbors had a business and we were playing in front of their house, right? And I made this really cool stop on concrete and it's like gravel, like it's just Tijuana, like it's just ow. Made this really cool stop, saved the ball, and then in that moment they owned a store and they got a call. The neighbors did that it was getting robbed. Like people were getting robbed right then and there. Guy backs up this big truck and starts hauling ass downhill. And so I'm on the ground with this great state with fantastic stop. I just look up and see this truck heading my way, just a big old F-150. It didn't happen like this, but it happened like this where I rolled like twice away and I just felt the wheels just pass my head. No, and I was like, "Oh my god, that was probably the coolest thing that I have ever done." And it was around the time Matrix came out, so I was like, "Oh, Matrix." Um, um, cool.
That's crazy. I honestly don't know if I believe that story. It's definitely little kid mind, maybe a little bit. Think it was closer than it was.
Yeah, but
but also those are the best memories.
Those are the
were
best.
the ones where you're not sure if it's true or not.
Yeah,
But in your head, that was like the coolest thing.
it was. I know it was true because then I cried after when I went home. Like I could have died. Like, oh my god, because like my neighbor kid that I was playing with, the other ones, their mom was like kind of watching us. I'm like, oh, Tony, and I was like, oh, okay. But either way, maybe one of those
I'm just
fantastical
imagining
stories.
like novela music playing and like
Dun,
she
dun,
screams,
dun, 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 like Rosa de Guadalupe.
yeah, and then
the
like it cuts to
breeze.
commercial right as the truck is coming toward
Yeah.
you, and then
Come back from commercial, same exact
And then you
frame,
roll
2
away.
seconds coming in. Yeah.
but you managed to just roll away in time.
Yeah. And then the white rose appears next to me on the floor, growing out of the concrete. What are we doing here? Let's just write novellas.
A soccer novela type of thing that could work. We might be able to write that or something.
Isn't that what like Club de Cuervos is?
It's not so much as I wouldn't call it a telenovela so much just like a TV show. Like it doesn't have that much dramaticness to it. I think to be a telenovela, you got to be kind of just insanely dramatic in a way that's
Ignacio, I told you not to put my child on the bench. Do you realize how much I pay for this team? Your salary and then it's the very humble coach. It's like, yeah, but he never practices. And little Ernesto here shares his shoes with his twin brother, and they play with magic. And they cut to little Ernesto, who's like, I don't know, like sewing his shoes back together. And then obviously he's the main character, and the rich owner's like, no, I will not have a street rat playing for my team next to my child. Get rid of him. Okay, gets rid of him, but then the coach quits and then starts his own team with that kid and a bunch of little orphan kids. And then they put the great squad together. They suck at the beginning, and then boom, boom, boom. At the end of the championship, at the end of the season, they play against that team at the Estadio Azteca, and it's a clash and a battle. And at the beginning, little Ignacio has the twin brother gets a career-ending injury. It's so bad, like right before the championship game. But he was a lefty, and then Ignacio's a righty. And for some reason during that match, he's ambidextrous. Like it just comes to him, and just a golden sombrero hat trick or whatever. Like I don't care. It's just
we'll work through the details.
We'll work through the details, but I really liked it. What's the name of this novella?
No, we can't be doing names yet. We gotta work this out more.
Let's see, what case is it?
I never got England Blue. I won in raffle.
You never got the England Blue. You won the raffle. You did win like 12 raffles, to be fair. I think it was pandemic times. I'll make that up for you, 619 Sports.
I have seen Rulo y Cursi. I made a film project. I had to do like a video essay type of thing for like my Latino cinema class at the University of Oregon.
What the fuck is the University of Oregon having a Latino cinema class?
So don't disrespect
I'm not
this
disrespecting.
professor. This professor,
just...
she like used to make movies.
What?
She's from Peru, just like such a random thing. This was like one of my favorite professors. Shout out to the professor. I now that I'm forgetting her name because we're on camera, I'm a little embarrassed about that. But no, we got to just watch. We would watch certain Mexican films mostly, but a lot of Latino films. And really cool to see. I decided to do a thing on that because I was covering soccer at the time, and just it's an amazing movie. It's about like poverty at the essence of it when you really think about it. And it's just it tells the story of Mexico too, where you're like at the end of the day, it's like the narcotraficantes are the ones that just like are the ones that are actually like doing stuff for the community, but they're all hating on it was so like weird and deep to a level where you're like, this is a movie about like stupid guy missing a penalty kick.
Yeah. And it's just like brotherly banter. Like,
it tells the story of soccer so well. Like, it's a great movie. Shout out to that movie.
Yeah. Gael Garcia Bernal and Diego Luna starring in that. Just
Carlos Cuarón directed it, I believe. All the three amigos were the ones that were producers on that movie.
So Drew at some point is gonna come up with this movie.
He says he's gonna do this movie podcast. We can do it right here, right now. I'll
Chiva hasn't watched Rudy Cursi. I keep telling him he has to watch it. Was that Milton Gonzalez says that Club de Cuervos is a satire. Yeah, 100%. Like 100%. All the Mexican goats produced that movie. Gonzalez
Iñárritu.
Yes, that's his name.
Great movies. Married Birdman, I believe.
Del Toro, Birdman.
Gonzalez Iñárritu. If you haven't watched Bardo, by the way, it's not about soccer at all, but that's an amazing movie.
Somebody should do a podcast on soccer movies. There is
favorite soccer movie. Ready? Go.
The Big Green. No.
Airbud.
I think it's really good. Although I saw a quick mashup of just the bar scenes of Goal, where that's when the dad comes in. He's like, "That's my son," and then Angus, the guy from AC/DC with the beret, is like, "Oi, that's your son. Come here, Balad," and just sits him down and then watches it. And then in this cut, it cuts to the grandma and the son, like, "Oh, that's it's like, oh," and it's like, "He was here. My dad watched. My dad watched the last game." And then El Vato's like, "Yeah, that's right, son. But now he's watching from up there." And then it's like, "Oh man, like, God damn it. There's so I'm saving myself for Morgan and Me. You know Morgan and Me?
No, I have no idea what you're talking about. Morgan and Me? Is that a movie?
It is definitely a movie. And this is Morgan and Me.
Soccer movie? I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, Alex and Me. Sorry.
Alex and Me?
You've never seen Alex and Me? I'm just going to play you the trailer, bud. I'm just going to play you the trailer. And this is going to be a great setup for whenever Drew has the bandwidth to start this podcast. And I believe this is in there.
Today's the big day, Alex. I think I'm ready. Got any tips for me?
The team cut her.
Welcome to Crush Tryouts.
That's a foul.
Crush is my dream.
Sometimes dreams die.
Her family ignored her.
Can I get a ride today? Hold on, honey. Hello? Yes. I'm gonna go move to Alaska and join a cult.
Looking forward to it.
Then Alex Morgan came out of nowhere.
Literally from the poster. Not out of anywhere.
Ooh, my goodness.
In full kit attire and shenanigans.
Alex Morgan. I know everything about you. I'm your biggest fan.
Do you know that I grew up in
Diamond Bar? And your favorite color is pink. Your favorite food is Mexican. Your favorite song is Man in the Mirror by Michael Jackson.
She likes Chipotle as her favorite Mexican food. But yeah, that's Alex and Me. Breaking news, Francisco. You immediate watch. Like, bye. See you later.
It's like a full-length movie? What is it like? Where can I watch this movie?
Oh, okay. Let's 3 stars on IMDb.
I don't want to have to pay on Amazon.
Don't worry, just go watch it with Francisco. He's gonna pay for it.
we should have like a watch party.
When this episode with Drew, 100%. Let's do it. Alex and Me. What's the runtime?
Can't be more than hour and 16 minutes. Okay,
that's a film.
I long for the days of shorter movies. honestly.
Yeah, I
They
mean, I
it's
can't. These 3-hour shits, like, fuck.
yeah, they're good, but like I just want to be in and out. Like it's a nice time, hour and 16 minutes. I'll watch this movie.
Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes did not need to be as long as it was. 3
it good?
hours. Yes.
Okay.
And I
But
hate
is it
that I
worth
admit, no,
going to the movies?
no. It is not. My suspense of disbelief starts and ends with the fact that um I can't stop imagining the voice actors in the studio just like like doing the sounds and like just it's just like the suspense of disbelief isn't there. Um what was this at the Canes? Oh, 100%.
Cannes. It's Cannes Film Festival.
It's America, homie.
No, it's
Canes.
Cannes. So Era Penal, guys. Another comment from Francisco.
So
Vasco.
penal. Okay, so let's get to this last segment, and it'll definitely be included here. It's bringing back a segment. We have a couple of goals of the week here. We have a grade of the week, and then we have a gaff. Let's start with the gaff because again, it's being brought up right now, and it's Alex and me. No, a gaff of a movie. We don't know actually. I've never seen it, so it could be literal cinema. But this is literal cinema. This is VAR checking. Right, a penalty. Is this the one? This the action?
I believe so.
Era penal.
Yeah, it's in the box.
All
Can't be
right.
pushing players like that in the box.
Sounds good. Open and shut case, guys.
Like it's difficult. Everyone's gonna be freaking out because it's an America thing. People say that America is in the what's it called? Always has the refs in their pockets.
It's the
and stuff.
Wefalona like type of mentality where it's like, oh, of course, yeah.
I think it was a penalty.
Yeah, I mean, even if it's not, you can't put yourself in a situation, even with the technology, even with VAR, to put some sort of doubt as far as that. Was it a penalty? Was it not?
wasn't
Kingdom
that.
says no, absolutely
I
not.
think we put on the wrong clip.
Did we?
There was a few things that people were complaining about for that game.
I believe this is one of them.
Yeah, I think talking about the one that they actually called for the penalty that they scored at the end of the match, you should be able to look for that.
Let's see, America Azul.
See, Francisco said it's that one. I think it's
this one that I showed, not the
now.
first one. Yeah.
Or you got it right there. And let's see.
Let's move it right.
See, you get the ball. Now imagine where the VAR referee's like, okay, pause, play the clip, frame by frame. Oh, yep.
El jugador no juega
There's
el
context.
balón.
There's contact.
That's what VAR is saying.
Yeah.
El jugador no juega el balón, se barre. He's not playing for the ball. The ball is already ahead. He's in a dangerous position. He has to think, even if there's no contact, as the player who's getting slid on, you can create that contact. You can leave your foot there. You can do any sort of things in order to make sure that you do get contacted, because the space is so small. As a defender, like, you have to be 1,000% sure that you are going to touch the ball first. Play it at regular speed, and it's that's the thing, man. Like, nothing can be played at regular speed anymore, because, and this is why I hate VAR, because you can extrapolate anything. You can look at things from different angles. I can't spell you, apparently. America Cruz Azul Penal.
Francisco says you can hear someone just shout "a huevo" in here. Wow. But I didn't catch the full game, if I'm being honest. I was at a graduation party. It's graduation party season right now. There's a lot of graduations and stuff that I've been at and stuff, but I was catching this game. I caught the actual penalty kick, and yeah, to me, it looked like there were a lot of saves by the America goalkeeper, just complete star at this point. And when you're Cruz Azul, you got to be making more chances. Like, you got to be finishing those chances, especially while you're playing at The Azteca.
You got to finish the chances. What is Francisco saying down there?
It says someone was whispering that there's whispering the level from the VAR audio. We got to look for that.
Yeah, we have that lined up.
Yeah, here we go.
So we have this action here.
Real time.
Please don't take us down to the end.
In real time, yeah, the referee calls it right there immediately.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, you see the foot get in the way, he falls, he's in the penalty box. You kind of have to call that.
It says the mic refs were getting player voices too, not just VAR. 100%. I mean, playing it real time, I can see both sides of the argument. It can be a leap, and this is coming from the number one America. It's just disgusting that this had to happen
back to back.
Be for first bicampeonato since Pumas, who beat Chivas to be bicampeones.
Maybe that's why Chivas didn't come today.
Yeah, maybe.
Morning.
He was just he knew we were going to talk about Club America Cup with Brian Enge. He knew we were going to talk about this matchup. It's a penalty. Like unfortunately, the optics don't help you, but there is no irrefutable evidence to overturn that. And if it was a no call, and then VR went in and said, "All right, let's slow this down," I'd also have an exception, because again, you can slow things down and make something out of nothing, and really give a reason for it. He said, Francisco, for me, it's the same as Robin. It's not a penalty for me. I think it's an interpretation. It's split across the country. I mean,
that's how it's always going to be.
That's how it's always going to be. Yeah.
Like, I just wish the game
didn't come down to that.
Yeah. Like it's the final, it's second leg of the championship. You really hope it doesn't come down to a penalty, but it ultimately did. And yeah, I thought the ref made the right call. It's 50-50. If the ref didn't call it a penalty and they reversed it into penalty, I would probably be like, oh, that's a little bit questionable. But I mean, I don't know how you can't I know VAR slows the game down and it brings it down to these small, minute inches and stuff, but it helps the referee make the right call.
I think of Mexico, France 2010. Yep, that's it too. But like that's super, they're moving at super speeds too. That frame right there, it doesn't look like the slide tackle is really pinning the player's foot, just because of the distance between the foot in blue and the shoe in orange, right? Like there's some space there, and it's not enough to anchor the foot down. But that's not what's a penalty at the end of the day. Like, it's the follow through and the raising of the foot that then dictates, like, okay, well, you were clearly slide tackling. The ball is nowhere near you. It's a gaff just across the board, whether it's a penal, whether it's not a penal. The fact that this went down to this decision is just, it sucks. It sucks for any sports fan watching any type of neutral. And by neutral, I mean anybody who doesn't support America, because that's the reality of things. America, you know where to put this Bicampeonato tournament trophy. And hope you enjoy it.
They're champions once again. But they end up losing the next day. America Femenil lose against Rayadas. We mentioned a little bit earlier, but
absolutely.
Christina Birkenrode, San Diego's champion.
Absolutely. And that's exactly who is chosen as this week's great of the week, is Christina Birkenrode, local San Diegan. You can catch her and you can catch Paul stealing her shoes. Down at Bridge Barcata, sometimes she features there, brings some pals, some friends. It's funny that she was a big contributor moving into the final with a couple of goals and a couple of great performances. Literally better every day. That's her brand. And really, she was better every day and really paying dividends after a tough start to the tournament, after dealing with a lot of injuries.
Yeah. To come back from that many injuries, it's like it really is all about peaking at the right time. And she was like dominant in that last game. Like I think, well, during the episode there was a hat trick,
Yeah.
and yeah, just to win it all is, I think, is their second with Crayolas,
I
right?
believe so. I
Yeah.
believe so.
That's really
It's
really
impressive. So shout out Christina Birkenroad. You are Santiago Punto Football's player of the week, the grade of the week.
You're gonna tell that next time.
Yeah,
you
just
see
like
it?
Joe Corona. Hey, Christina, just let you know you won.
Back on May 28th.
Back on May 28th, you were declared the grade of the week for Santiago Punto Football. How do you feel?
What?
Shout out Joe Benny Corona. That's one of my favorite moments just ever. Like, he was so cool about it. Like, he came out, he was gonna talk to me. We were gonna reconnect. And yeah, just, hey, you won goal of the week, bro. What? The fuck are you talking about? Shout out Joe Corona. Shout out Christina Birkenroad. ¿Qué dices? ¿Qué dices? ¿Qué dices? Pobre Aviles en Velasco. Yeah. The goals of the week. The goals of the week are coming and hailing from Bridge Barcada's team that was fielded over at the Vista Chrome Ball Tour event. And it features an old pal, an old friend from the podcast. We've seen this kid from when he was a youngster, just really coming up and playing. You know, obviously some injuries. This is a story of life. Played in UPSL, some local teams, gave him some tryouts, played for Nomads, played across the multiverse of soccer in San Diego. And you can see him being featured in Bridge Barcada Chicano futsal. The kid likes playing, and really quality goals here. And 2 goals that we're going to feature today is Nelson Kinder, the boy, the man, the myth, the legend. You can see that reacting there. That's actually him reacting to this goal. But we see this right here. Bah! Whoa. It was impressive. The sound just came on. A pass from the hand. Amazing. And then just the backwards, just seal head yeet into the net. Impressive. But there's also, if I can pull this one up here in a bit.
San Diego Wave could have used one of those.
San Diego Wave could have used one of those.
There was a few chances there.
Who knows? San Diego Loyal could have used a couple of those goals too. Then he did this as well. Good stop. Poor clearance. It's a mishmash here. Good pressure from Nelson. Gets the ball up in the air.
Yeah, I like that one better. That was to just get that first touch and then just
absolutely great. I mean, great stop. I would be livid at that defender for not clearing it, waiting. Nelson puts pressure on, creates this play, tries to control it in the air, puts it up in the air, and then a full, just beautiful volley into the net. I do believe this is in a semifinal match, so you know, the pressure was on. It just pisses me off seeing with a defender just not clearing. What are you waiting for? Kick it out, make it a corner. I don't care. Like, but there you go, Nelson, with the goals of the week for San Diego Punto Football. And with that brings a close to today's brand. Yes, this episode of bring it back into the studio. Shout out Nelson. I will tell Nelson, hey Nelson, guess what?
You got goal of the week.
You got goal, an honor that's been bestowed upon Alejandro Guido's cousin, Joe Corona.
Okay.
Jaden Shaw's one. Mackenzie Doniak. I mean, just absolute. And Nelson. I mean, this is we're the show that just keeps on giving back to the community of San Diego with soccer. It was in the semis versus the eventual champions, so that's not an easy goal to score. The fact that defender was in the eventual champions kind of upsets me. But either way, it's awesome. Really awesome to see everybody kind of coming together. There's enough soccer in San Diego. Is it good?
Yeah, I was checking out the studio still. It's a beautiful studio.
You're in it.
Yeah, we're all in this. The whole city's in here.
It's really, again, it's part of this whole, like, it's dumb. It really is, but it's the coolest thing ever that this stupid little garage has housed so much soccer in many ways, where it's like, all right, like, you know, we used to face that way. Like, Chiva, this table used to be this way, like this way, and Chiva would sit there and I would sit here. We would both face the camera, almost like a news like a news anchor setup. It was like, oh, hello. And now we did this. My family still allows it. It's cleaner. I have to clean it periodically in here, but either way, it works out. We will be having some more content. Is there meet availability this week? Do we
No,
know?
there's international window,
Internationals.
so I think the Holland Davis is kind of taking a little break.
Okay.
So, but I'll be watching. I'll check out on my social medias. I'll be watching all the Wave international players. There's 10. I don't think I'll be watching them live. I'll be honest. There's 2:30 game, I think, for Australia.
Yeah, no.
Versus China.
Yeah, we'll hear about it later.
We'll hear about Emily Van Egmond.
Emily Van Egmond hat trick. With that, that's been today's episode of San Diego Punto Football presents Two Balls and a Mic. Abe, thank you for coming in, sitting in. Did you enjoy your time?
Thank you for having me. I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, yeah.
I really enjoyed our interviews. It was a lot of fun today.
Right. It's really cool. Thank you to Brian Enge. Thank you to Paul Nacu, Paul Ball. Shout out Carl. Just the Bridge Barcada movement is absolutely phenomenal. Fantastic. Thank you for everybody who's joined us online. Thank you for everybody who's joined us on each and every one of our streams. Calmate, Neo. And I'm glad that Shams heard my Matrix story. That's ¿cómo se llama? El Emo Brown, a saddest Mexican. Yeah. You heard the Neo story. The
Funny.
It happened, bro. En las privadas, en la privada Nogales.
Yeah, we believe you. We believe you.
More times than not, like I have somebody who can prove the stories, and I think I could do it if need be. But with that said, Abe, thank you for joining San Diego Punto Football. Check out everything that we have. We're gonna have interviews for players. For hopefully, we'll try to get. Actually, I'm gonna reach out to get Coach Stoney to do a check-in with us soon, and then we still have Maria Sanchez hanging in the balance. Plays guitar pretty well. I don't know if you saw that.
I didn't see that. You have a guitar right there behind you. You should play us out with the song next time.
Next time. You're right. Absolutely. Next time. With that, thank you guys for joining us. San Diego Punto Football forever. Bye-bye.